Hello, everyone. She wanted to talk to me about that case, and I thought maybe you might want to hear about it. You know, this is an educational channel, and I'm just going to keep feeding as much information and, you know, show you just how this is all done and how we're working cases and how we try to save everybody, you know. But sorry about the 17-year-old. I just can't handle it. That is an insult to the Creator. It's an insult to humanity. I don't know what's wrong with the Supreme Court, but you get so intellectual, you get narcissistic, you get corrupt, you get all kinds of ways. But to force, I don't care what the law is, to force a 17-year-old, you know, they have leeways. You have to get out of the square box stuff. And I don't know what to say to this poor family, other than, you know, move out of America. Get your daughter, go to another country and get out of this hellhole, because we are getting bad in this country. We're destroying children like crazy here. For what? Chemotherapy? Because you don't understand the lymph system and how easy it is to get these people cleaned up initially? By the time this girl, if she does make it out of there, you know, they've damaged her so much. And we find that's okay? I tell you, and you asked me to get along with medical doctors and they do this shit? There's no way. This is war. That's what this starts. Imagine the parents. Here's your baby. 17 years you've raised this baby, and now the state grabbed him and filling him full of acids, which you now know. I can tell the mother knows exactly what chemo is, and you know what they're going to do to her. And that's not war. We have domestic terrorism like crazy coming from our own government, from our own healthcare systems. It's sick. I've got to get off of this subject because this is sick, and the AMA is sick for doing it. Sick, out of touch, out of sight. Bad things coming. An article passed along from a client member named Cliff. Biological bad luck blamed in 2/3 of cancer cases. Yeah, same people say crap like this. Biological bad luck blamed in 2/3 of cancer cases. Chemistry and physics, guys. Chemistry and physics rules. Just remember that. Go into your chemistry and physics and rethink your thinking processes. But thanks, Cliff. This is exactly the kind of stuff I love, because this is the kind of stuff that extreme intellectualism breeds. Stupidity. Sorry, guys, I apologize for this morning, but I haven't got over this 17-year-old girl yet and what they're doing to her, strapping her down and giving her chemo, and making it a prison so the parents have to go through body checks and everything else to get to her, I'm sure. They did that with, what's his name? I'm going to mention any names there. The little 6-year-old. I mean, it's just, I don't know what to say. It makes me want to throw up, that's all. Ugh. This is from Argentina. Cynthia. Hi, Cynthia. Sorry, honey. Just one of those mornings that some things is not good out there. Hello, Dr. Morse. My name is Cynthia. Hi, Cynthia. I live in Argentina. I am writing because my mother is very ill, and I would like to know your opinion. She is 70 years young, is a diabetic since 1992, and since 2011, insulin dependent. So what this tells me, she's a type 2, even though now she's insulin dependent. Now remember, the insulin is the problem, because insulin is a hormone that acts just like any other hormone. You're on it too long, then your beta cells have a hard time producing it. And so this is why it's so hard for type 1s as opposed to type 2s. Type 2 is the adrenal glands. Type 1 can be neurological from the adrenals and the autonomic, or the pituitary, etc., or it can be the beta cells themselves. And you just have to keep working your world and working the cells and getting away from insulin if you can, using the glucophages and things like this, because it's, you know, but you have to fix your adrenal glands, and that's hooked to what? The kidneys. And so the kidneys are what? The filtering organs of the great lymphatic system. So you know, not only is she going to have blood sugar problems, she's going to have high acidosis problems, because the adrenals control the kidneys, and you know when she's having blood sugar problems, you know her kidneys are down. And then here comes the blood pressures, you know, all that sort of thing with it. Higher blood sugars, higher blood pressures, everything's starting to be inflamed, swelling, acidic, you know, things like this, because you back up a sewer system, and what do you got? You got acid sewage. Absolutely. Absolutely. Currently, she's in the hospital. In October, she had an operation. They put a pacemaker in your body So she's going down here, and that's the thyroid. And your thyroid controls heart rate through metabolism, or metabolism through heart rate, if you want, however you want to look at that. So, you want to take a look at this. Her glands are going down, she's going down. And you can perk all that up and get all that up there. So now she's got a pacemaker. She has a heart failure and lung problem, COPD. All right, COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Now, the heart problem. Is the heart problem congestive heart failure? That's the lymphatic system. Is it arrhythmia, which would be the nervous system, but adrenals and kidneys, big part of that. Also parathyroid. Here's a thyroid here, so a parathyroid could be involved. That would be your calcium channel. That would cause heart arrhythmias as well. And it could cause the the mitral valve to fail too. Any connective tissue, any valves can get weakened. Your sphincters can get weakened. You can wet your pants. You can hiatal hernias and back check. I mean, all kinds of things when you lose your calciums. She sleeps with a BiPAP, and I bet she does because she's extremely congested. I mean, that's just what all this is. Actually, a month ago, I had a pleural effusion and then a pneumonia. But here's the thing. If someone comes into you and you're a raw foodist and an herbalist, it's easy to get them out of pneumonias and congestive heart failures and things like this. The problem with the advanced COPD is they start with the oxygen because they have two problems. Whenever you have anything outside of pneumonia, you have two problems. You have a neurological weakness connected to a congestion. And whether you hear it 1 minute and not the next, interstitial. This is where all of it is anyway. It comes out, of course, into the chambers, but interstitial builds up big time. So you've got to detoxify your clients or your mother, whoever, to get this mucus to come out. Because as the person gets more acidic, this mucus dries out, just like all the other fluid, it becomes dehydrated, and it becomes like a rock in there. It becomes hardened. And so now you've got hard sputum in the walls, acids, and then you start scarring the lungs, and then you hold water as edema, and you see where I'm going with all this. It's all from the same thing. All just varying degrees of the same thing. That's the simplicity of this. And understand, God made life simple. Complex as you want to go, but if you're not careful in complexity, you lose reality. You lose simplicity. You lose understanding. And that's what's happened allopathically. I mean, it's way out there nowadays. Giving chemo to skin problems and things like this. Something's got to give here, and somebody's got to go down for the chemo. Somebody's got to go down for that chemo. You can't keep doing it. You're insane. Insane. She's holding water in the lungs and all this other stuff. So you really got to detoxify this person. And she's in the hospital with pneumonia. They are fixated on pneumococcus. Yet in 40% of pneumonia cases, there's no pneumococcus present. How do you explain that? Because if you blame pneumonia on pneumococcus, it has to be there 100% of the time. Not 99, not 98, not 50, not 60% of the time, 100% of the time, because that's the causative factor. Since bacteria is not the causative factor of pneumonia, obviously, it is congestion and mucus. Why is pneumococcus present ever? Just what bacteria does. It works on your sewer system, guys. You never kill your bacteria. That's like killing nature, saying we know better. And that's just what medical doctors do. We know better than nature. You nature people are freaks. We know better because we've had years of education. Of what? What have you been studying? Everything wrong. It's amazing. It's just simply friggin' amazing here. And when you start forcing kids, that's when I draw the line. There's a red line for me. If I'm that father, you went past a red line. Taking my child and forcing chemo down him, this is creating a war-like atmosphere out here amongst the populace. Remember that Texas judge in America that said, well, I won't go there. But cannot move independently. Its weight is, her weight, right, is 113 kilos. 1 month ago, she was 133 and has a hard time breathing. when given 2 to 3 steps. Well, she's all acidic and swollen. And this is a case where you would not give this lady water. You would not say, you need to drink a lot more water. You'll kill this one. You don't do that. This is when you back away from the water's problem. You need her on the fruits that are astringent, but you got to back up a little bit because, you know, too much water can create, of course, more edema, which will then congestive heart failure, kill her, pulmonary edema. She can't breathe at all. They have to go and get her lungs aspirated. You know, this leads down bad roads. So she's already at a bad road, but she needs to back up. She needs to get away from antibiotic use, hospital use, and hospital suppression. She's got to allow her lungs to come out. So she's going to go through pneumonia symptoms. There's no way you cannot go through that. You've got to allow this mucus to come out instead of suppressing her pneumonia. It's what they're calling pneumonia. It's just a congestion in there. Of course, she's got COPD, so you know she's got adrenals and neurological weakness. So you're going to address that. You're going to address the kidneys and adrenals anyway, right? Because you're after the lymph system. You're after her acidosis, right? So you're after the kidney and adrenals. But then you're after the lungs. So I would do lungs number 2. I would do 3-lung tea. The problem with 3-lung tea, it's a tea. So you want to sip something like that. Or you can make it into capsules and take the capsules. But you want the same herbs are in the lungs 2 and the lungs 1 formulas. But you want to go on those and plan on a pneumonia experience. People die mostly from the treatment of their problems, not from their problems, guys. So you have to get them to start expectorating. At the same time, you want to go after those adrenals and enhance her nervous system. I'd also give brain and nerve number 2, just to enhance her nervous system to help her breathe better. Now, where is the autonomic brain? GI tract, stomach. I'm going after her GI tract too, because if that's where her weakness is as opposed to the adrenals, which is in the adrenals, but still, you're going to go after that stomach. You're going to go after the autonomic through the stomach and GI tract, so there's any connection here. So you're going to start opening all the doors so all this mucus and all this stuff are going to come out of her. She is going to be symptomatic. She's not going to be asymptomatic. She's going to be symptomatic, meaning she's going to have mucus coming out of her. She's going to have pneumonia-like symptoms. Okay, you put it in, you got to take the responsibility and let it come out. There's no two ways about it. If you think she can go through this and it just clears up and goes into the ethers to nowhere, you're gravely mistaken. There isn't a pill that suddenly makes things like that disappear. That's an allopathic. Want you to believe that. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as taking a pill and suddenly you're killing the bacteria in your body and suddenly your pneumonia is gone. Oh, no. No, and remember, antibiotics are suppressants, so the way they make them. And if you're on a sulfa drug, extremely suppressant. So all you're doing is waiting for the next time when it blows back on you even twice as bad. You just can't do it. And you can't take steroids because you end up killing people like this. You got to be real careful with these people. All right? I wonder what would your opinion about a possible treatment with your therapeutic method. Must she leave her current medication? What medication could she possibly be on? I mean, she's got to be on her insulin, but there's a way to get her beta cells healthy again and work their off of that. That's not the problem. The blood sugars and the adrenals and kidneys, that's the least of the problems. Her real big problem is the COPD and this filling up with fluids like this. That is the problem. Pulmonary edema, COPD, congestive heart failure, all this is in this lady's world. It's so easy to fix. Please, if you think you can help my mother, would appreciate it. Definitely, we get people like this all the time. Give me your opinion and guidance. Excuse me if you don't understand everything. Well, that's okay. No, you're doing good. I'm glad you wrote here. I'm glad, Cynthia, dang right. You can help all you guys, healers out there, you can help people like this all the time. All the time. Just warning, realize that when you detoxify a pneumonia case, they're going to have pneumonia. If you've ever had bronchitis in your life and you detoxify, you're going to revisit those symptoms. Not disease, not a disease. You're going to start pulling mucus out of you, so you're going to have just what bronchitis is the body's effort to expectorate this mucus. Same thing with pneumonia. Doesn't matter the trigger. It doesn't matter with cold air, which is alkaline, cold raw foods, this is alkaline. Doesn't matter bacteria, excessive bacteria or a strain, who cares? It's the job of nature to start getting in and loosening and getting rid of this. It's not the medical doctor's job. Their job is to work with nature. They don't know how to because they're not taught stuff like this. They're taught they're the elitists. Sorry. So this is what we have to understand is you're working with nature. Your body is the wise one. God is the wise one. So you're working with nature and the Creator. You're not trying to, be the big... But you need to fix her up and be real careful about hospital stays, because one day she might not come back out. Many people go into hospitals with pneumonia and don't leave. There's a lot of deaths from pneumonia, and I'll say from the treatment of, because no one's ever died of us, and we get triple pneumonia here all the time, double pneumonia all the time here. No one ever passes with pneumonia. From the treatment of it? Absolutely. And that's the point. More people pass from the treatment of what they call diseases than not. And it's like, oh my God. Sick stuff. Hi, my name is Regan. I am 16 years old. Honey, I appreciate your question here, honey. Already, I don't even know what it is. And I have had acne. See, look at all the acne in the young kids, guys. Not good. All these young ladies and young guys are full of lymph. But you expect that, because I've been warning you, genetically, our adrenals and kidneys are a mess along with the bowels. So these young children are not children, are young adults, 16. Of course, you could strap her down and give her chemo for this. That's what they're doing for psoriasis, is giving chemo now. Oh my God, that's sick. But 16, I've had acne for about a year and a half. So honey, kidney and adrenals and lymph. Focus on your kidneys, adrenals, and lymph, and clean out your bowels, so you'll go from 16 to 100 and be happy doing it. I started going and get all your body fixed, because you could have kids in the future and you don't want your kids to come down this same road. I started going to the dermatologist. They put me on antibiotics and cream that started clearing up my acne for a while, but now it hasn't gotten worse, but isn't getting better. Yeah, and if you do too much suppression, sweetheart, you have a blowback that's something you really think is good. It's really bad. You can't cure acidosis and a stagnant lymph system with antibiotics and anything like that. That's ridiculous. Even using antibiotics is ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. It just shows you they don't understand what's causing it. And so you have to learn. And it's your lymph system, it's your sewer department. And young ladies your age definitely have kidney and adrenals all over the place. So before I end this, get detoxing yourself. Get your kidneys filtering, detox yourself, sweetheart, and the acne will all be gone. And you want to do this, because this means that your body inside is all backed up head to toe lymphatically. Meaning your sewer system's backed up, sweetheart, in you, and nothing good comes of this, ever. I want to fix this one. You're only 16. This is a good time for you to do that. I am also a celiac, so I cannot eat wheat products. No one can, really. No one can, really. Doesn't matter, honey. I want raw food. Fruits, berries, and melons, #1. Salads, #2. And go take off and start detoxing. You might want to get some kidney and adrenals and lymphatic herbs, even if you did the Fab 4. Talk to your parents. But get this opened up, because you can get rid of all this acne, get this all cleaned up, fix the kidney and adrenals while you're 16. That way you don't have any problems here whatsoever. So this is a good time for you to get a hold of this and catch it and really get your body cleaned up, get those kidneys filtering. Pee in a jar and look at it. I'm telling you, you're probably not filtering well at all, honey. And this is all blowing back on your skin. Most of the problems I am having is all of the hyperpigmentation scars left over. I would like to know how to get rid of them and clear my acne for good. Big time. You might also want to check your pituitary. I mean, that's a little bit much to ask you over YouTube like this. They have to go back to other videos and look at your monthly menses. Are you on time? I mean, you're just starting out in life with that, but there's a lot going on here that you want to make sure that you're healthy and stuff at 16, because your future, you're building on your future right now, and what you eat and how you take care of yourself right now is your future, totally. And with what's going on with you, you can either get a whole lot worse, push you up into psoriasis, or you can clear it up and be done, and you're done the rest of your life. You fix your kidneys, your adrenals are up, you're going to have good babies, the lymphatics are good, everybody's good. So it's a good time to do it. And you're only 16, it's a perfect time to get yourself healthy, because you don't want to be like the 17-year-old young lady who now is being strapped down and administered chemo. You don't want to be like that. And that's the system you have down, sweetheart. That's the lymph system. And she has lymphoma, which is the lymph system's down. Easy to understand, easy to fix, until you get you get yourself way out in Hellsville. And then some of you are struggling real bad to get that fixed. But that's only because The AMA doesn't have a clue, and all they do is use suppressant pharmaceuticals, which are toxic. So what you have is worse, 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 worse. Appears to be better temporarily, always the case. And now, though, people, I've said this before, we're so chronic in the human condition that pharmaceuticals did well in acute and subacute, at least what their focus was. For us, it was like, no, you don't suppress these early stages because then you get chronic and degenerative, and guess what? That's right where we are. Right where we are. Man can't take any more of this quackery and this insanity and this force our children into chemos. We can't have any more of this in a society like this. That's why the Hopis and the Sioux elders said what they said. We're going down, and these people like these Supreme Court judges on there are part of why we're going down. You know, you just can't live in a world like this the same way we've been doing things. You can't do this. This is dark agey thinking. So how can you have Dick Tracy watches and all the modern stuff, and yet we live dark agey in our medical thinking? No, I don't think so. I think it's time for a change. That's why all you are here. Vital. You see why now you guys are so vital to this? Look at how many of these children are being slaughtered every day with chemo. You guys are so vital to help stop this, I can't even tell you. They've gained so much control that it's not even funny. And we've been warned and warned and warned through the years. And I've been warning people for how long have I known about all this? And particularly at the level I do, about 25 years. I've been fighting the federal government for 25 years. One federal judge after another, corrupt as all get out. And I won't hold back on federal judges. I've been through too many corrupt judges. So bad karma, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Why not just live by the rule of truth? You live by the rule of truth, everything is good. But if you live by the rule of corruption, then everybody sees corruption, and then everything becomes corrupt. And that's just what's happening. When you see the superiors and those that are supposed to dissipate law and everything properly are corrupt, what does that tell you? So people have lost total faith in our government here. I don't know what it is around the world, but got to change these things, guys. That's what we're here for. The spiritual people have to walk in and say, we're here with the sword of light of God, and you guys need to change. Truth is light, and light, when the lights come on, the cockroaches run, right? Dr. Morse, none of the words can express my gratitude for your work. Oh, thanks. I see the little pic behind you. Indeed, you are the living legend. Oh, thanks, Andy. Thanks. I have a question. Can eating only fruits help in schizophrenia case? Well, it might, it's such a strong level. It could get you out there a little bit. I'd think first walk with a little balance, and then work yourself up into higher fruits, berries, and melons. I'll tell you this. Make sure your endocrine glands are healthy, my dear. Check your adrenals. Make sure you're somewhere between 120 over 60, somewhere in that range, both sides. And that's with kidneys filtering, right? And then make sure your basal temperatures are under your arm, somewhere around 98. Make sure your fingernails, everything looks good, so you know you're utilizing calcium, everything's toned and tightened. You don't see any spider veins, varicose veins, fingernails are claws, hair's good, things like that. And, check yourself out that way. And that'll help with that. That helps with all these type of schizophrenia, I hate to label these things because when the glands go down, they affect you in all kinds of ways. Some mentally, some physically. Then you get to the thyroid, parathyroid, you're into the id, the self, you're into the intellectual. When you're down into the adrenals, you're down into the emotions and into that sort of thing, anxieties and stuff. And so, the glands really bring in the emotional and mental issues a lot because they're connected to those bodies of yours. So you got to get those tissues healthy. And that's the only way to come out of these type of things is make healthy that which is weak. Because that's what you have, a weakness. You can call it anything you want. But when it comes to cells, I use strengths or weaknesses. We know genetics are facts, all of that. But and also you might want to get the fungus out of you. This can also make you gnarly. So I'd go in a parasitic form like Parasite M for a few months and really get the, get the parasites out of me, and particularly the fungus. That can really warp you. Get your adrenals and kidneys filtering, sweetheart, and get everything moving good, and you'll be good. Well, this is Gregory, so it's not a lady, it's a man. So Gregory, do those things, sweetie, and you'll be good. But get your glands in a state of wellness. And be careful about neurotoxins. Make sure you get all these neurotoxins. If you're doing weed, get away from smoking it. If you're, make sure you wash all your fruits and vegetables. If you eat out a lot, make sure you take, your restaurant cleans with Fit or something. And just watch all the neurotoxins in life, Gregory, because they also can send you out to Never Never Land. All these sort of things, and really take off on yourself there and clean yourself out there. And you'll be okay. If you're not, give me a buzz. This is from SS Supersport. Questions. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you guys, too. I've only messed up once. I wrote 14 once. But, yeah, Happy New Year. I'm hoping this year will be a good year, for everyone. Especially for those of you like the 17-year-old. You find your true remedies and you find your happiness and your joy instead of the opposite. But remember, this planet's going downhill in certain ways, and it's only the spiritual people that are lifting it up. And you guys are the spiritual ones. And just remember, simplicity rules. Don't let the mind come in and take you on a ride. I mean, it will, and it does, but learn more and more how to get a hold of that mind so you can be more conscious in every moment. And that being conscious is a big deal, because then you can make better decisions for your bodies and for your longevities and for your next experience. Plus, if you learned a little out-of-body traveling, you could have all kinds of fun and happiness. Let me see here. Thank you for all your truly valuable information you share on YouTube channel. Thank you, my dear. I appreciate that. I hope it finds you and gets you well. I fell on a lack ice. Is that black ice? Lack ice a year ago and injured my shoulder and elbow. Okay. Oh, I hate ice. Oh, reminds me. Woo. Went to 2 orthopedic surgeons who told me to just wait as time would heal. After 4 months or so, there was no improvement, so I started my own healing journey that included acupuncture, chiropractic, and so on. That's what I like about you smart people. You don't sit there and just say, okay, you do something. I love you guys. This is Sophia. Sophia, you did good. Still, my shoulder and arm hurt, and I've lost the range of motion. Okay, so understand that this, it sounds like I'm a broken record. But I want you to realize how simple all this is. When you fall and you damage yourself, you've damaged a lot of cells, right? And you've also, in one way or another, either damaged or impeded nerves, blood, and lymph flow to some degree. Now, when you damage or there's surgery done in here, everybody thinks the blood's going to do everything for you, and that's just not true. Guess who gets to clean up the mess from the injury or from surgeries? The same system that's down that creates the need for some surgery, for most surgeries, but this was trauma. Same thing though, your lymph system has to fix it up. And so let me submit to you, my dear one, that this lymph system on your particular side, that kidney isn't filtering well, because this is all lymphatic. See how it's getting frozen? Because all that acid in there is not going anywhere, and it's getting more dehydrated, and it'll freeze and lock right up. That's what acids do. So, it's a lymphatic problem, right? And you could use some steroids, a little steroids to heal a little bit, right? A antacid there to help you. So adrenals. So you want to go on your kidney and adrenal formulas, check your urine, make sure you're filtering. Get up here. I would probably do 1 to 2 bottles, if it was me, of, let's say, a parathyroid glandular. And with that, I would do the Bones formula. Remember knit bone? We got all kinds of great herbs in the Bones formula. And so what all that'll do, it'll help inspire the healing of any trauma to the bone or connective tissue. Moving that lymph will unfreeze it and get all that inflammation out of there. They can't do that. That's what we do. We're the general practitioners of life because we cure everything. We can fix everything. We don't just say, watch it, because see how it's getting worse on you? And it is on your younger people, because we're all living in a world of frozen kidneys and adrenals, and nothing's filtering well. And this is a good example of nothing feeling. The body should have, they're right. they're right in one viewpoint here is your body should heal this up. Should have taken care of this. The lymph pulls all this out. Everything heals up. Base balance in there, and everything's good. No, not with kidney and adrenals down, because you have no way to clean it, nowhere to go. Your lymph isn't moving well. And this is where you can tell no matter where your injury or where your pain is. When you see swelling, what system has to deal with that? And what system is causing that? It's never the blood, guys. The blood is always base chemistry. The blood has to deal with the lymph like everybody else has to deal with the lymph. The problem comes with the blood is directly impacted what you drink or smoke or eat or what you put on your skin. That directly impacts your blood. But this other is lymph. And when you guys get that, it doesn't matter what you have, you go after that lymph and adrenals and you can correct it. It doesn't matter. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is and what location it is in. So you see how you're not moving that and filtering that lymph, and neither one of these two therapeutic guys can help you, acupuncture or chiropractic, although I like them both quite a bit. But you want to get in there and get that lymph moving and filtering through your kidneys. That'll open that up more and more and more. You'll get your range of motion back. At the same time, I definitely got the parathyroid and a little bones for me just to heal anything that's maybe a little fractured or a little just, connective tissue weakness or something to hold that into place. And there is going to help with frozen shoulders and loss of range of motion. Absolutely. We'll totally get it all back for you. I was told that my lungs TB about 30 years ago and liver fatty. So right there, she's already, couldn't be your right shoulder, could it? Liver right, shoulder right. It's enough to say by the time, right there it's in your face, honey. Right there is in your face, Sophia. What's your problem? So lymph. But doesn't it make sense, guys, that she could have a fatty liver and all the other things because she's not moving her lymph? By the time you do trauma to your shoulder and you can't fix it lymphatically, you got your lymph system backed up all the way up here, meaning that the liver, the pancreas, everything else is involved. And to have a fatty liver, what creates fat? What does fat use by? But lipids used by the body? And acids. So that means your lymph system's backed up to the liver for the liver to become fatty. But this is true with the lungs, the pancreas, everywhere else can become fatty tissue as well, guys. Fats, lipids is how you fight acidosis. That's why you go on these high-fat diets and you feel better, especially if you're full of inflammation or acidosis. You feel better. Well, because that lipids are acids. However, you can worry about the blowback of acidosis and ketosis doing stuff like that. You'll do this the right way. Fix the kidneys and adrenals, get yourself filtering, get this lymph out, and you'll get rid of that fatty liver too. You want to get rid of that fatty liver as much as you want to fix your shoulder. I mean, all these things lead to cancers, guys, or what medical doctors loosely call cancers. And not in good shape, and one of the healers suspected that my lungs were interfering with the shoulder recovery. Now, take it another step. Your lymph system's interfering with all those tissues. Look at it a little further than they go. No, your lungs aren't the problem, your cells aren't the problem, it's your fluid that's the problem. Then it can become a cell problem. We don't want that. Thank you again for all your work. Any feedback on you? Best regards to you, Sophia. Fix that up, get your lymph moving, because you'll get that shoulder taken care of, and the fatty liver. And that might not be all that's going on. I'm sure you popped some ovarian cysts and things like that. You got to worry about that. All the other things. And have a fatty liver now, you can get gallstones a lot easier. Wow, let me see. This is Donna O'Shea from South Carolina, epilepsy. This is from Donna. Said, I'm not sure if this is still the email used by Dr. Morse, but I heard of an herb called Queen Anne's lace. Yeah, me too. Extract uses birth control and was wondering if it's harmful. Thank you. Queen Anne's lace. Boy, I tell you what. Let me look that up for you and get back with you on the next video on that. I can't remember exactly all what Queen Anne's lace is good for. Did you Google it to see? I think Queen Anne's lace, you have to be careful about high dosages, toxicity and high dosages, but I would Google it, or I'll look it up for you, and I'll look up it too, because I tell you, I would like to find a good natural birth control for you ladies, because, you know, taking all this hormones and stuff is just wrecking women's health, and that's no fun. You should be able to have natural birth control that doesn't hurt you, that keeps you healthy and everything else. Don't you agree? And I think God has supplied that. We just have to, you know, the jigsaw puzzle. That's herbology, the jigsaw puzzle. Find them and figure out what they're good for. Yeah. Hi, Dr. Morse. I'm a 15-year-old from South Carolina. Here's a 15-year-old, guys, from South Carolina, and I love watching your videos. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Everything just makes so much sense, don't it? I mean, you think we really are put here to you have to go to universities and everything to learn all these bizarre and wild and wacky stuff, and then, you know, and then you can't cure anything? I mean, no, I don't think so. No, we just got carried away with the mind, guys, and that's all it is. And we don't have anybody to blame but ourselves. I mean, that's creation, though. What we do have to understand is that the mind is the problem, and that we have to back up a little bit academically and start infusing spirituality. That is your love principle, and that's your consciousness. So what that does is allow you to see more of how these things are connected. Like the one we just said, instead of blaming the lungs, you go, what's affecting both? The lymph system. Because it's just a bunch of cells and two major fluids that take care of them. I mean, when you study A and P and you look at it simplistically, you're going to go, oh, wow, look at that. You know, it's not that difficult to understand, and it's not that difficult to get your remedies. What's difficult is advanced genes, genetic weaknesses, and very, very chronic lymph systems. There, you're going to be a while working yourself out of this, and not always a lot of fun doing it. But the remedy is guaranteed. You will have your remedy. You will get well. There's no other way to get well. You can use the therapeutics like chiropractics, acupuncture, massage. You can use those to help you because they're all feel-good stuff. Most of them. Roughing, maybe not. But then you want to be careful with roughing and deep tissue work, because if you got a parathyroid weakness, remember it killed one of the lady that worked for us one time. She went to a rolfer, and this rolfer didn't understand parathyroid. She had parathyroid weakness and gave her an aneurysm, killed her. You must be very careful about how you treat the human body and at advanced levels of weaknesses. Because if you have thin capillaries, you dig in too much, you can create an aneurysm. You can pop them. You have to be real careful. I mean, you have to be smart and think things out. I hate to use that word, think things out, because that invokes the mind again, but you have to be aware of what you're thinking, maybe. We could say that. Everything makes so much sense compared to what I was growing up thinking, don't it? That's what I think, too. I hope one day I can go to your school. I hope so, too. Be happy to have you. Because I am a plant lover, and the idea of curing them... plants. Take botany, my dear. You're only 60. Take botany. Make sure you take a little botany and learn about the different leaves and the stems and everything about plants. That'll only help in herbology. And take an herbal degree. You could take an herbal degree now at your age and become an herbalist and learn about herbs. Remember, herbs are generally considered for the use of treatment of. But when you turn it around and realize you're going to use herbs to enhance and repair cells and to clean the body more aggressively. And when you start looking at that, you see that indeed that's what they're made for. There's herbs just for the kidneys. Not to detox, but enhance the function of the kidneys. That sort of thing. Yeah, so I'm excited for you. This will be fun. You know, we can't do it without our plants in any way, shape, or form. For obvious reasons, right? I was wondering if a standard protocol would be fine for me. I had epilepsy as a child and still have head pain. No, I don't like that. And a throbbing tongue from time to time. Yeah. Excuse me. I don't like it. This, okay. It is more active and stressed. All right, so I would definitely at 15 know that my kidneys and adrenals are probably in line here. You can get your blood pressure checked if you want, sweetheart. I think you're going to find it be a little low. But go after those kidneys, adrenals, and the lymphatic system. That's key. You can do the Fab 4 or you go full bore. You know, if you never killed worms out of you, go the first kit. Just do the first kit, go by weight, look at your dosages by weight, and have fun with that and see where you go after that. Now, I would probably take an antispasmodic. I have an herbal antispasmodic. I would take with that just to make sure that you don't have any of these type of seizures or anything like that. At the same time, I talk to your parents, see this. Got a lot of cases like yours. Upper circuit, brain, and nerve. So there's 3 formulas I'd recommend to help you with this. Upper circ, which is upper circulation. That is moving oxygenated blood more aggressively to brain cells, at the same time enhancing neural function. Then the brain and nerve is totally about neurons and enhancing the function of neurons, the cells of the brain. And of course all through the body, the myelin sheaths and everything. You want to go back toward the adrenal glands because that controls the autonomic. At the same time, clean up your bowels, because the stomach and the solar plexus is the central brain of the autonomic, remember, the worker bee nervous system. And by draining the cerebellum, you're going to work yourself out of any seizures that come from back here. And so getting this drained and getting this lymph, very important to get this acidosis out of you and this inflammation out of you. All right. I had epilepsy as a child and still have had head pain. See, and we want that head pain out of there. That shows inflammation, acidosis, and we don't want that because that'll just create a brain lesion. And so we don't want any of that. And if you do have some brain lesions, let's fix them up. The only way to fix a brain lesion up, of course, is get your lymph moving. That's the reason that causes them. It's all about acids. So get that out, get the acids out, and you're going to turn yourself into a whole nother person here. It is more active with stress. So what does that tell you? So stress shuts down the adrenals, enhances your epinephrines, which are your aggressive neurotransmitters, and absolutely, it shuts down your elimination. So acidosis goes up in stress because you have more muscle activity, that's more lactic acid. You have more stress because you're using your stressor, you're more active, more acidic type steroids. So yeah, or neurotransmitters, absolutely, absolutely. So you can see that in those times you get more acidic, and you can go right into these things, absolutely. So, and another thing you might want to check is your parathyroid gland. Make sure you're utilizing calcium. Check with your fingernails. I know you're 15, but you got fingernails, so check your fingernails. You have any depression at 15? I don't know, but you could. So just, we can look at that, check your height and stuff to see if they're pituitary. If you're short, it's a pituitary problem. And take a look at this parathyroid, because if you were on my client, I would go after your parathyroid just for a short period of time. Get a picture of your eyes. Have your mom or someone take a picture of your eyes. Take a look at your eye, honey, and see what you look like. See if you can see any thyroid, parathyroid, pituitary. That's up in the middle of the transverse colon area, and check all that. I was pretty much raised on meat and dairy, which I now know is probably what caused my head. Yeah, exactly. So you definitely don't want to do those. You want to back out, get all this congestion out of the head. Because if you're still feeling head and getting throbbing, you're highly acidic in the head area. And nothing ever good. So like I said, brain, that's how you create brain lesions. So you want to get all this out of there. I have a very, very, very painful menstrual, I'm glad you said, very, very painful menstrual cycle. Okay. I was prescribed birth control for the pain, and it helps a lot. Well, here's what you do. If it was me, I'm going to go on my female reproductive formula because that'll bring balance to the adrenal glands. But it's definitely directed toward the pituitary and the ovaries and the uterus. It'll tone, it'll strengthen, because this is what I'm saying about the pituitary. I just had that feeling with you. I don't know what it is, but I have a feeling you just need to check your pituitary, look at your parathyroid as well. The pituitary is can slow down your growth. You can be shorter than the other girls. Anywhere from 5 to 5'1" as a total growth is too short. So you can tell anywhere below 5'5", you probably have a little pituitary going on. Pituitary going on, it can make your menses irregular and heavy bleeding. It can, all these things. So you want to go and get the female reproductive formula and use that for a couple months and tone and tight. If that doesn't do it, we need a little deeper look at the pituitary gland, because you don't want to go through this at 15. You don't want to have these type of periods. Nothing good ever comes of this. You don't want anything like that. And if you're too much bleeding right now, you can get our bleeding formula. We have a homeostatic, which is a bleeding formula. It'll slow you down. You don't want to stop, but you want to slow yourself down. You can use herbs to do that. Again, back to the beauty of herbs. I have ended up out of school more than once because of the pain. Yeah, well, we can fix all this, honey. And I want to quit the birth control because I am aware of how bad it can and will hurt me. I know you are. The seizures, they said, were spike seizures, and they are on left side of my head. Looking at my eye, I notice more problems with the left. And that would be the left kidney and adrenals too. You know, so you got it doesn't matter, you can't just address one or the other. So you got to go in there and get your kidneys and adrenals up. That'll pull up your myelin sheaths a little bit, get your more neurotransmitters, clean up the bowels. That'll help the connection to the parasympathetic back to the back of the head. But you want to get this draining. You can use your neurolymphatics down your back and get your head drained and start getting the sinuses cleaned up, because you just got to get yourself raw foods and get all this done. Get on the upper circ brain and nerve. Get this pain out of the head. That's a must do. You don't want to take that the rest of your life. You don't want to play with this, because it's just not something you don't want to go, because you can get tumors formed up in the head. You just don't want to go where this can take you, honey. It's just, now's the time to fix this. And if your parents are listening, you got to help her do this, because you don't want your daughter ending up like the 17-year-old that's now strapped down and being administered toxic chemo, which is hotter than hydrochloric acid. Nursing, we call it Drano. So if you want your daughter in the future to get Drano, because that's the system most of us have down, is the lymphatic system. You're going to see a lot more 17-year-old, 16-year-old, 15-year-old lymphoma cases. They're all over the place. It's because they're born with kidney and adrenal weaknesses. This is common across the land. And if you don't fix them, these governments are out there. They've lost total spirituality. They're way out there. They're out never land. And if anybody believes that's okay to strap a 17-year-old and give him battery acid, you're on the wrong channel. I have trouble digestion. Yeah, see, we got to fix all this. I have tried, and remember I told you guys, in the babies, we're having digestive problems so bad they can't handle the milks anymore at all, hardly. So we have to go with the fruits so much quicker. But look at their smarts. Look at what's happening to the children on raw. It's amazing to see. But the babies that are not, it's a nightmare from hell what they're doing to them. It's horrible. I have tried switching to a fruit-based diet, and I'm still trying to. Well, if you're having trouble digesting fruits, vegetables are hard to digest for humans. And there's no question, because you realize that the design of a herbivore is much different than a frugivore. And so they have the grinders, they have the multiple stomachs, they have the long GI tract to deal with the high-fibered vegetables. Not so in the human. We do okay with the cucumbers and the kind of the veggie fruits, but when you get into the lettuces and the kales and what everybody likes, are real hard to digest. That's why we have juice extractors. You know, it should be pulp extractors. So you want to do that. If you're having trouble digesting and you get gas when you're eating fruits and vegetables and stuff, you got to take the pancreatic formula for a couple of bottles and fix that pancreas, because this is what's happening with the young people, guys. They're having multiple problems all over the place. They're all fixable, but you have to be strict, and that's a lot required out of a 15-year-old when the rest of her compadres are probably, doing all kinds of stuff. So it's hard. You have to be hurting to be a 15-year-old to write this to me, and that's what just gets my heart bad. You guys that are young like this, I'm proud of you for standing up and wanting help and asking for help. I am totally, 100% proud of you. And I consider young people that do this well on their way to being adults. Well on their way of being adults, if not better. So I'm proud of you guys. I have found it very hard to accomplish in high school. If I eat certain foods, I have terrible pain, so that makes it a little easier to stay away from certain foods. Well, that's, don't it? Well, just remember, any protein would be voodoo bad, and any dairy products would be, oh my God. So you're really restricted to your fruits, berries, melons, and salads. You don't want the grains, you don't want any of those acid foods, so you're really restricted anyway, but you got to be. And then I would let off the vegetables as much as possible and go up the line of fruits and berries and melons more. Get your lymph filtering. Get your kidneys filtering. Pee in a jar, honey. Remember when we talk about filtration of urine? Get that done, because I'm telling you, you're not doing it. You've got to fix this, and you want to fix your monthly cycles now. And we can do that. You can fix all that. That'll fix your glands, and you'll be good. You grow good, strong, everything's happy, good children, and everything else. But if we keep passing our weak genes, it's not pretty. As you got, some of you are having first-hand experience. Some of your mom are having first-hand experiences with what happened to your kids with this, and it's just not good. I have constant sinus problems, thought so. Need to really drain the sinuses and drain your head area. Really need to get that out of there and clean this up, because this is just mucus and acids, and it just, oh honey, just nothing good comes of this. Especially when you're already involved and you're this young. You just got to get all this out. You'll get rid of your seizures. You'll get rid of all this stuff. Your menstrual cycles will go normal. You'll clean everything up. All this will go good. But you just have to spend some time and do this, and you have to let your parents look at this video or something and realize what's up, because if they don't, it's a bad time. Parents need to let their kids go into these good programs and get well. And you will, on that left side. You can start seeing a dropped eye. You can start seeing a lot of things. So, no. Let me see. I have constant sinus problems, and they never go away. Well, you need to. You got to. Or you get sinus polyps. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And we just got to get that cleaned up. Thank you for helping people. I appreciate everything you do. And you're 15 years old telling me that. I love you. You're just an incredible person. You can email me back. Okay. I also have the right and left eye attached. Well, they didn't attach it. Hey, honey, are you there? Let me see what I can get done here. I also have the right eye and left eye attached. I got to look at that. There is a freckle in my left, and I was also wondering about that. Well, there is no freckles in the eyes, so it's a drug deposit, more than likely. Ophthalmologists like to use the word freckles. I like to use more what they are. One more thing. I am very active and very busy. I will be okay detoxing when I am highly active, absolutely. I attach the pictures of my eyes on a Word document due to the software we got for taking pictures. I'll see, honey, if Chris can pick them up. And what I'll do, since I can't get anybody, let me see here. What I'll do is for you is maybe I can get on the next video. But if I get a hold of someone before I'm done with this one, I'll go over your eyes. I'll go back over your eyes, okay? Okay, Donna. I don't have your eyes. I have another Donna O'Shea here then. All right, Monday, okay, this is candy. I like candy. Okay, hi, my name is Candy. I am turning 34. I guess that's how you pronounce it. On the 11th of January. And I recently started the vegan diet about 3 months ago. I am wondering if you have any knowledge. Oh, this young lady sent pictures. Ask Chris if he can get them for me. I'm talking about her case here. If he can, okay. If not, okay.
Okay.
But I'd like to. Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. You need anything else?
No.
Okay.
No, that was it.
How's his schedule look like? Do you know? Happen to know?
Don't know.
Is he got like till 5 o'clock today?
Oh, him?
No, you're talking about.
Like clients for him?
I'll let you know.
Okay, I'm coming back that way.
Candy, all right. I am wondering if you have any knowledge of Huntington's disease. Absolutely. I noticed you once had a video on it, but it was taken off apparently. It should be back up though. I would also like to send a couple pictures of my iris for you to review for me if at all possible. I have noticed my eye color changing due to the current diet, and it struck a curiosity in me. Yeah, and when you notice, this has to be a female because only females watch their eyes like that. Well, you young guys are, I know, but that's either good or bad. If you have blue eyes and they're getting more white and they're getting more yellow or green or brown, not good. If they're yellow, brown, and looking more blue, okay, we're looking good. If they're brown turning blue, that's good. If they're blue turning brown, not good. Please feel free to email me back and where to send my pics and any different information. All right. I'll ask Chris to have him look at this and get back with you. But Huntington or any other problem in the body, you always have to understand acidosis and location. Doesn't matter where it is. I don't care if you're dealing in muscles. I don't care if you're dealing in heart. I don't care if you're dealing in kidney. I don't care if you're dealing in neural problems. I don't care where. it is essential that you have two fluids running freely in the process of feeding and cleaning the cell. That's essential. All research done by any good research group or clinic always asks the question about the elimination of waste inside the human body. Not digestive waste, not poo-poo, but cellular waste. And when it isn't, I don't care, location. Location drives you to your genetic weaknesses, is what it does. The name of the disease drives you to the location, which drives you to your genetic weaknesses, and shows you what happens when acidosis occurs in your genetically weaker areas. Fit. And you can name any name you want, and you're going to go back and fix it the same way. Isn't that funny? Too bad what that is. But I'll ask Chris about your eyes, and we'll take a look at that, dear. But get on your kidneys, get on the 14-week program. Clean yourself out, or I'll design you one, or make yourself up one, knowing what we're talking about, kidneys, adrenals, lymphatics. That reduces that gets rid of all the inflammation, all the breakdown of tissue, the underproducing or overproducing of hormones, steroids, neurotransmitters, all the things that you come up with. This brings the body into a homeostasis, a balance. The adrenals get healthy, they work for you as you want them to work for you. They produce the adequate steroids or hormones, or steroids or neurotransmitters as your activity, as you demand it. Same thing with thyroids, parathyroids, and everything else. That is where we're uniquely different, not in body anatomy and physiology, but in the genes and into the different activity and states of consciousness. And that dictates differences amongst us, of course. Okay, Monday, let me see. Oh, no name on this one, but I can see. I was involved in a major chemical, oh, yuck. I was involved in a major chemical spill at the semiconductor factory I worked at. Uh-oh. The chemical was a derivative of silane, S-I-L-A-N-E. Silane? I have been shrugged off by about a dozen doctors on what can be done for me. I have chemical burns. Oh my God, this had to be really corrosive, huh? What's the pH of that? I have chemical burns all over my face, and when I shower, the chemical comes out of my body and burns. Oh, bro. Oh, man. This is not good. This is a huge discomfort. I feel that my body has pretty much been destroyed by this, and I am so frustrated by the medical doctors saying they cannot do anything for me. Is there something that can be done? Oh, absolutely, my man. Absolutely. Oh, no. But that they're not in the field of wellness. Remember that. You just got to remember the play on words and the understanding of who does what in different modalities here. First of all, there's only one world, right? There's only one world for you, right? And it is definitely, remember I said detoxification is the golden key? There isn't anything that you can't apply detoxification to that you can't get your remedy from. If you have ingested chemicals by the spill, by breathing and absorbing through your skin, there's only one world out, and that is detox. Unfortunately, it's going to go through your kidneys or out your skin again, so that's why you feel the burn on that. I think if I was you, I would do the fast track alkalizer a little bit. I'd get some baking soda, aluminum-free baking soda, do a teaspoon in a cup of water, and just kind of sip it throughout the day to try to keep that bicarbonate going through the body and keep neutralizing acids. At the same time, if your lymph system's really backed up, you're not going to move these acids out, and they're going to keep coming through the skin when you promote that. But I would get my kidneys filtering, get my adrenals up, so your steroids will help you there. Get your kidneys filtering. Remember that? Sewage in the urine, sediment in the urine, and get myself detoxing. I'd go on a great fast. Really get up there where you have high flavonoids, which will help buffer the acids a little bit. But that's the only way you can buffer those acids is with the other side of chemistry. Well, the other side of chemistry is your fruits, berries, melons, and your salads. That's the other side of chemistry. Most of your other foods in nature are on the acid side of chemistry. That's why we take them all away from you when you're acidic. Doesn't that make sense when you're acidic to get rid of the acidic foods? Absolutely. I mean, it's common sense here, guys. So, be thinking of that. And this is what you'd have to do. You want to get this out of you because you could be burning up some cells right now. I'm sure you are. So there is plenty you can do, and I'd be getting right on a program to get this. If you want to do some green drinks, I wouldn't blame you one little bit. I do parsley. I don't know if you get dandelion greens this late, but I do parsley and a bunch of greens, spinach, kale, whatever you want to do. I also get some alfalfa sprouts and really juice some greens and help pull that out too. I wouldn't eat the salads because that's going to slow you up. Get on your grapes and green drinks. That'll pull this stuff right out of you. But you probably are going to have some little symptoms doing that, okay? Can't help that. But get that out of you. You can get it out of you, and you'll be fine when you do that. If not, you know, these acids are going to sit there and blow back on the cell and burn the cell. So that's the only way you can do this. Unless they have a remedy for silane, unless they have a remedy for that, something to neutralize it. But it's systemic now. It's probably all through you. So you just have to detox it, balance out the acids or buffer the acids with base. But that's how you detoxify anyways, with base chemistry or alkaline chemistry. And it's essential to keep yourself, halfway in balance there from the burns like that. Now we got a burn salve, so I put that burn salve. And the reason is that oil from the salve, I've got grapeseed, I've got coconut, I've got olive, and we've got hemp. So those oils will help buffer those acids, that chemical acid, to help neutralize that for you. So I'd be rubbing, wherever you see on my skin, I'd be rubbing that burn salve on there. It'll help with the burn, it'll help neutralize the acids, it'll help pull down subcutaneously and help there as well. At the same time, you're getting your kidneys and adrenals, you're moving your lymph out that way, so you're moving these acids. Get them on the run, baby, get them on the run. And you're fixing a lymph system. And remember, when your lymph system's backed up and you have a chemical ingestion like that, it's hard to get them out even worse because your lymph isn't moving and your blood can't deal with all this chemistry. It's going to dump it in the spleen. It's going to dump it into the lymph system. It has to. It can't carry acids like that too long without killing the patient. So you understand the body's smart. It has to deal with it. It has to get rid of, the blood has to get rid of as quick and where it can. And that's the problem with detox, is pulling out these old hunts, old chemistry that's been dumped and stored. But, no other way to do it that I know of. And you'll be fine then. This is about thyroid, menstrual issues, hair loss, bleeding after sex. This is Patricia. Hey, thank you for sharing your love with all of us, honey. I'd be happy to. I just, I don't know. I don't know what happened to us here on this planet, but you know what? We all need to stand together and start dishing out a lot of love to this place. My God. Oh, look at this. I am a college professor of human anatomy and physiology. Look at that. Yeah. Oh, I love that, honey. I've talked to a lot of you guys that were professors of A&P. One lady taught medical doctors, and she said, I always knew you couldn't dump acids back into the inferior vena cava. I always knew you couldn't dump acids back into the venous system. She said it makes total sense. Now, with the new finding of the lymphatic system...
I'll be back.
Okay.
You're done for the day, but I'll be back.
Okay. Have we heard anything from that down there?
No, she hasn't called yet.
Okay.
Call me if you need me. I'm on my phone. I'm going to Home Depot.
Oh, you guys going to pick out?
I am by myself.
Oh, okay. All right. Now we're having to do a little remodeling. She's a professor at the Human A&P and have talked with you. Oh, you're the one that talked with me in the past. Yeah. And it pains me to teach my students a traditional allopathic explanation of the lymphatic system. Isn't it? Oh, my God. But I know you're in your situation. You about have to, but boy. And think about this, my dear. I've been thinking about you now and then, and I'll say that, remember, they found the new lymphatic system in the brain? That, I hope you got that research and read that. That's amazing stuff. And I think that's what we're looking at, the lack of understanding more lymphatic systems. And I'm sure you're going to find a major one to the kidneys as well, because this is just amazing that the body has an extra lymphatic system in the brain that is hooked to the spinal fluid. That's why it carries it out faster. But you begin to understand why. So then when we understand that God did something like that, what happens when we back all that up? And God actually made two systems to protect the brain. And we back both of them up. Oh. I appreciate your passion and honesty. All I want to do is help life express its beauty. You're a good woman, too. I'll tell you that. This lady is really nice, and she's a professor of A&P. And it's just, she gets it. Your message of how life best heals and returns back to its perfection of being is more valuable than all of the anatomy and physiology textbooks I have ever studied. Thanks, sweetheart. Love you, honey. Thank you so much. With that said, I do have a question for you. I am 41 years old. My hair has been thinning, and it feels as if my skin is looking older and less elastic. Again, that's exactly what's happening to you. The very lymphatic system you're teaching about, honey, is backing up in you, and it's dehydrating you. That's what acids do, obviously, is dehydrate. And that's where you burn excessive electrolytes, because I always said this, how many women does it take to neutralize a male? And that's you're asking the same question in chemistry. How much base does it take to neutralize an acid? You know, and playing with all the pHs and all that. Interesting stuff, you know. Because it's like chemo. You can throw lettuce in chemo. You can throw grapes in chemo. When you start getting down in the lower levels of acids, there are not too many things that survive those, guys. Not too many things. I mean, you can throw stuff in there, but, you know, I don't know if you have to get that high up on the base side. You know, when you're eating fruits and vegetables, you're not getting much past 7.5 to 8. And you take on the base side, chemo is around 1.5 to 2, most chemos. So 1.5 to 2 pH is hotter. It is as hot as or hotter than hydrochloric acid. So when you look at that, the opposite end of the scale, when you're down around 2 pH, where are you, or 1 to 2 pH, where are you when you would look on the flip side up at the base side? 13 to 14? It's rare to ever get anybody, I don't know how you'd get that high on the base side. Only in manufacturing, maybe. What is line? I forget what that is. I do try to consume a raw vegan diet, but recently a traditional naturopath from Basture, that's all you had to say, suggested I start eating animal protein because of the type O blood. Oh my God. That's Basture for you. Basture in Southwest. They tried to get me to get old Jensen on their board so bad. Oh, they tried to get me to get them, and not going to do it. He wouldn't do it, I wouldn't do it. And we're not gonna, I mean, you can't call yourself a naturopath and put someone on a high protein diet that has lymphatic problems, especially. That's insane. This is just they're taught wrong, guys. Sorry. All the time I was under a great deal of stress because of a breakup and living in a tent. What? You're living in a tent with my 4 dogs and 2 cats for several months since my animals and I had no place to live? You mean somebody left you out in the cold like that? Any man would do that? Not good. What happened to the male principle? Even if it was in a woman. No, you don't do that to another human being. Leave them out in a tent. Jesus criminy. I would never give up my pets and opt to live with them in a tent until we could find a place that would rent to us. No, honey. Well, that's the problem out there. Landlords don't want to rent to pets because some people don't care when they rent. I had some, that's what I was going to do in life after no one would listen to me in my field. And I tried to help people for years, you know, and they wouldn't listen to me. I went to building custom homes and buying houses and fixing them up and turning them over because I needed money. And I have 2 expertises. I'm a phone guy. I can put in phone systems and work on phone lines, or I can build custom homes. Those are the 2 things that I've done in my life that I've had to make money. And I don't know where I was going with that, but anyway, I fixed a house up once and sold it to some people on a contract, and they had dogs, big dogs, and they just crapped all over my inside of the house, and then they left the house. I had to re-tear out brand new stuff because it was brand new. I totally redid it, and everything was brand new. I'd tear out brand new stuff and put it in. It was a nightmare. So I see the side that they're, but I still don't think landlords should cease to rent to people to care for their animals, and they take care of their animals and everything. It's too bad. Fortunately, we have all found a home. Yeah! During the time I was living in a tent, I lost eating fish. I lost eating fish and more nuts and seeds. Oh no. I lost about 10 pounds of weight and was, and still am, drinking a lot of coffee with hemp milk. Out of fear, I began eating fish and more nuts and seeds. In addition to this, I noticed that my menstrual cycle was beginning to alter. See? Yeah, see, well, you're watching, and this is a good thing for you because you're watching now your A&P at work. And what happens when you bring certain chemistry into the body, what your A&P will do. Exactly. My cycle would shorten to 18 to 19 days. I began spotting in between my periods as well. Yeah, you want to take a look at your pituitary, dear one. I would do the same thing, go into female reproductive because I have pituitary herbs in there. Pick a picture of your eyes and see if your pituitary is showing there. Just send me a picture of the eyes and put your name on there, okay? A&P professor and all that, and let me look at them. I'll go over with them over the phone. I mean, over this YouTube, so we can go over this. But you don't want to do this. If you want to look at the pituitary relationship, wait a minute, I got to go on here. I began spotting in between my periods as well. Also, my last blood test showed that my T3, T4 were all in the low end of normal range. Yeah, I think you're seeing your pituitary going down, which means your transverse colon is involved and your sinuses could be involved too. So you want to clean all this out. Do the female reproductive. It's a gentlest one to go attack that first. If you don't get any remedy, we need to go after that pituitary with a glandular. That'll then increase your T4s, or T3s, which will then flip back and increase your T3s. TSH looked normal. Interesting. We'll see how normal it is. You know, and it could be a thyroid, parathyroid problem, but with a mitzvah like this, I'm going to still say, even though the TSH looked normal, was it low end normal? Let's see. My platelet count was below normal, and I was bruising quite a bit. Ooh, no. In addition to this, I noticed bleeding after sexual intercourse with a new partner, a bit of my medical history, diagnosed with hypothyroidism at age 11. All right. So, what we got to send me your eyes and fill me out that questionnaire, my dear, and let me look at your pituitary, because we want to look at that, and we're not just talking thyroid, are we? Parathyroid, dear one. You want to check. You want to stop this early on. Stop this bruising easy. This is parathyroid. Now the question is the pituitary slamming down the parathyroid and thyroid, or is it? And the eyes will tell you. You'll see a lacuna or lesion or whatever in the thyroid parathyroid levels, and or you'll see one in the pituitary, or both. So we'll have to look at that. But your symptoms are parathyroid for sure. I mean, you're telling me parathyroid, you're all over the place. And we do not like bruising. We don't like hernias and aneurysms, do we? In addition to this, I noticed bleeding out, okay. Yeah, it could be real thin on the vaginal wall there, and you're getting a little bleeding there. But you know what that suggests? Extreme acidosis, sweetheart. Extreme acidosis. The very system that you understand is getting you. Yep. And that's, of course, you're stressed. Look at your relationship. You're living in a tent. So there goes your adrenal glands. Well, there goes your kidneys. Whoops, there goes your lymph system. Oh, well, there go. You see where I'm going? It's just piling right on the other, shutting down. Bam, 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 like a bunch of dominoes. A domino effect here. But you were diagnosed at 11 with hypothyroidism. Now, the question is, was it the thyroid or was it the pituitary at that age? Look at your height and everything else. It could be the thyroid, like I said. Oh, I was very short and did not go through puberty until... That's doesn't matter what... That's your pituitary, honey. You know that as well as I do. This is your pituitary. So she was small until she got to college age. I am now 5'4" and weigh 120. Well, you're still a little short. Pituitary, I'm telling you, pituitary. Now, you can try fixing that pituitary through the female reproductive first. The endocrine glands has the chase tree too. If that's not doing it, we're going to have to go to a glandular, and you could do a pituitary glandular, 1 a.m., 1 p.m., one bottle only, then pick up a parathyroid. Leave the thyroid alone right now. Pick up the parathyroid to stop this bruising and bleeding. pick up the parathyroid, do 2 bottles of the parathyroid, 1 3 times a day with a either superfood blend or bones, and you could do 2 TID with them. TID is 3 times a day, BID is 2 times a day. Other symptoms, bloating after eating veggies. There you go. So veggies are difficult to digest, so I'd be looking at my pancreas, sweetheart. You might want to do the pancreatic formula for about a bottle or 2, just to enhance pancreatic enzymes and digestion. But again, if your lymph is backed up this much, it's going to be backed up. This will be a good education for you because you're going to really know the lymph system well by the time we get done here. And a lack of energy. Well, you can go, your adrenals are going down. And this is why the need for coffee, of course. And it's a catch-22 because coffee is a major stimulant. And once you get those adrenals up, you got dynamic energy, dynamic cellular energy. Perfect. But you want to check your kidneys and adrenals. Make sure you're filtering. Check your urine in a jar, honey, and make sure you're filtering, okay? Now, she sent us some blood work, and this is what she looks like. Interestingly, I tend not to bloat when I eat mono meals of fruit. Well, because fruit is much easier to digest. Vegetables are very difficult for humans to digest. And this would be more so if you have a little pancreatic weakness there. Could be even more harder to digest that way. Now, the average person probably doesn't feel that so much. But some people get constipated on salads. I've had people that get constipated on salads. Amazing, isn't it? Your platelets are 138. I do not like that. Okay, so 138. That's 138,000. Platelets need to be, it'd be nice to see your platelets over 200,000. 200 to 400,000 is a good range to be in. Platelets are produced in the bone marrow, but also the spleen deals a lot with platelets. So I put myself on a spleen formula and a bone marrow formula just to play with that, because you want to associate your white blood cells with your platelets as well. You want to look at your WBCs, white blood cell count as well. If the white blood cells are low and your platelets are low, the diagnosis is leukemia. So that means bone marrow, generally speaking. But, you know, then they hook a lymphatic word with that. Because we all know that it's a lymphatic system that's breaking down bone marrow or spleen, causing these problems, which gets a label of a cancer. See what I'm saying here? Now, you still want to have about over 200 platelets. I don't care if you want to get over that. So I would definitely hit that. Bun is 5, which is going to be marked anyway. That tells me you're not doing proteins. Excellent. You want your bun, which is urea nitrogens. That's your proteins. You want to have low when you're a raw foodist. And a 5 bun to a 6 bun BUN is perfect. Creatinine, 0.83. Now here's the problem. We talked about this before. Now this lab has a 0.57 to 0.1 point or 0.99 normal, which is the normal good lab. Problem is, 0.57 is our low-end normal. That wants to be your high-end normal. You want to have no more than 0.6, 0.7 is high-end normal. Because when you're high-end normal, you're in trouble. You're getting in trouble. I don't care what they say. You might be in normal ranges, but doesn't if someone that's concerned about you say, hey, look, your blood markers are increasing, we need to look at that. That's who we are. I don't know who they are, but that's who we are. When I see some indications in blood work that they're heading toward the top end, isn't that a warning sign, docs? Isn't that a warning sign that they're getting in trouble, or we just wait and let them get in trouble? Well, I'm not made that way. Let's fix them now. So your creatinine is 0.83, too high. Kidneys, honey. Kidneys right off. Tell you right off. Kidneys. And you're going right into the things that you're seeing on these videos. That's what's happening to you too, honey. And you got to stop this. Get your kidneys filtering. Get this creatinine down to 0.5. Got to do that. Now, right there's your little end. Now, here's another one. Your TSH is 1.76, too low. I know it's low in normal, but still too low. You want about a 2.53 easy, so you're running low TSH. And you know what? They didn't mark it, but you're running low TSH, I can tell you already. When you're down about 1 in TSH, you're going to see a blowback on that. You're going to see a kickback. You're going to suppress the thyroid. You're going to suppress the parathyroid. Yeah. T4s and T3s, I don't care much about those, to be honest with you. It's a TSH I'm looking for in your case. But you're still low in normal of all your T4s and T3s, so you really need to bring your TSH. You're low in all those, so you need to bring your TSH up. And that's pituitary. But you're having pituitary symptoms from growth hormones to periods to all of this. You're having all pituitary symptoms. Based on my case, it feels as if my pituitary is weak. Ah, she's smart. Well, she's an A&P professor. She ought to be smart. Absolutely. Oh, you're right on, sweetheart. Affecting my thyroid, parathyroid, adrenals, and over. You're right on. I tend to suffer from sinus and head. There you go, right there. See, you're clogged up in there, and that suppresses the pituitary. Smart lady. When I start to detox, I feel ill, yeah. And you're going to. You're going to go into a full-fledged cold and flu-like symptom. So does that rethink what a cold and flu-like symptom really is when you realize that they're just detox symptoms? It doesn't matter what you get into. If the body doesn't want it inside of it, it's going to get rid of it. We have to respect detox symptoms because that's the body saying, hello, I've got stuff in here I don't want. Out we go. I don't know what else you say. You stop that? That's not what we do. We promote that. Because if you don't and you lock all this stuff in your body, that's your nightmare. That's your tumor. That's your lymphoma nightmares. You don't suppress. Pharmaceuticals have to stop this and change the way they think. You know, at least when the pharmaceutical company came out with Mucinex, they're thinking that way. Now, if she's on blood tonic, brain and nervous system tonic, I would definitely be on that one. Oh, glycerin. Healthy circulation upper, that would be on that one too. Endocrine gland balance, that'd be okay. Oh, you're on a lot of glycerins, huh? Wow, parasite G glycerin. You're on a lot of glycerins, honey. You're on lymphatic system 4 capsules, kidney and bladder 3 capsules, and you're on a kidney 1 glycerin, good deal. Bone marrow, smart woman. Oh, smart woman. Healthy pituitary cap. See if those will do. See if that pituitary will do with that. If you need something faster, sweetheart, get a glandular for the pituitary. Just go real slow, 1 and 1 maybe, if you need that. But that pituitary cap should, no. Smart with the bone marrow. What's your white blood cells? If your white blood cells are good or high, clean out the spleen. But you can always be beneficial going after the bone marrow. But it could just be the spleen here. You know, take a look at that and see. And as a matter of fact, I would just clean the spleen out irregardless. After you get done with the bone marrow, hit you on the spleen one. Does this seem like a good plan? I think a very good plan, Patty. Very good, Patty, and I love you, honey. Good woman. But get yourself fixed up here. We'll get all this stuff fixed up and we'll be good. I'm glad you gave me your blood work. Yep. So let's go in that direction. If you need me, Patty, you know to call me. You know how to get a hold of me. Honey. But there's an A&P professor that she disagrees with the lymph system and as how they portray it because she knows better. And when you start to really think it out, and then with this new lymphatic system, it really starts to drive home that there's lymphatic systems we don't know much about at all. You can make some assumptions because of how the body needs to open up, like kidney filtration and stuff like that, because you know what happens when it does and what happens when it doesn't. So that's in your face. How that works inside that they don't know, they'll just have to figure it out. Finding more lymphatic systems would be a good thing for them, right? But it's enough to say we know enough that we can fix anything. You know, some might be struggling to fix things, but you know, I've got one case of constant seizures from vaccines. Went right into a seizure right after a vaccine. So I guess the vaccine didn't have anything to do with it, even though she went into a seizure right after the vaccine. Been having seizures for 20-some years, almost 27 years. And her lymph system is so bad, I just can't even get through the parents how bad her lymph system is. And I can't get that done until I get that lymph system clean. I mean, some things can hold us back a little bit. Milk thistle powder. I hope you can help. I wanted to know whether or not cleansing my liver would help as I begin to lose weight and regain my health, having been morbidly obese for most of my life. Oh, wow. Look, I am over 360 pounds. 50 years sounds like my son. My son is almost 50 and almost 400 pounds. I think he's going to go after it one of these days. Yeah, you know, you're not supposed to bury your kids. I have diabetes and for the past year, chronic pain in my right leg, hip, both ankles, back, I assume from gaining weight very fast and lack of exercise. No, let's back up here. You're doing all of this because you're losing your kidneys and adrenals. Your weight's like that, you're losing your adrenals, man. And you're losing your kidneys. So when you lose your kidney and adrenals, what do you see? Acidosis, right? You see the lymphatic system backing up. Now, what do you think acids on knees will be like? How about acids on hips? See where I'm going? That's exactly what you're experiencing. You're experiencing chronic hip pain. That's all this acidosis. Ankles, same way. But guess what? If you don't correct this, my friend, you'll lose them. You'll lose your ankles, you'll lose your knees, you'll lose your hips. Everybody does. Because they don't fix it. The kidneys and adrenals, so you got to get in and fix your kidney and adrenals. The weight is, your adrenals and kidneys are going down. So you just have to go after those. Don't call yourself morbid or anything like that. You're fine. You just got glands down. Your kidneys are down a little bit, not filtering. Go after that. Go after health. Don't go after losing weight. Go after health. Make health your passion. Forget about the weight. Don't tell your subconscious anything. Go after health. Make health your focus. Don't care if you're big or small or whoever. Health is your focus. Do everything to yourself that's healthy. And before long, everything will turn around to your favor. It's a better way. I have started to change my eating back to fruits, plant-based and raw foods, but I would like to look at how I can help the detox process, or certainly help the process as my eating changes for the better. Well, that's when you add the herbs in. That's when you add herbs to help you along the line here as you go along. You add the kidneys and the adrenals and start getting these glands working, and as you start metabolizing, see, you're not metabolizing sugar, so it's going to fat. So once you metabolize sugar better, and that's your adrenal glands, well, they sit on top of your kidneys, of course, and that's the weight and everything else. You also might want to check thyroids. Basal temperatures under the arm, a low thyroid, and weak adrenals can create definitely obesity. 4, 5, 6, 700 pounds. I bought some milk thistle powder and have recently read that it doesn't work for liver cleanses. Oh, it's great for the liver. Cleanses is the lymphatic system. But milk thistle is a great liver promoter, promotes tissue function. But if you want to cleanse, that's detox, that's the lymphatic system. Because your blood doesn't clean you, it feeds you. Your lymph system is what cleans you. It cleans you from trauma, it cleans you from everything. You dump all that stuff in the sewage. I wanted to ask your advice on whether it can have a detox effect that is gentle on the liver. Yeah, it should. Should milk thistle powder be used for best results? I don't know how much. Excuse me. What I would do is I would buy 2 caps. Generally I like formulas better. But if you're using a single herb like this, I wouldn't use more than 2 caps, and that'd be in a really, I'm going after it. 2 caps 3 times a day, TID, or you could go to 1 cap, but 3 caps, TID is fine if you're going after this. But keep in mind, if you're trying to clean the liver, your kidneys have to be filtering. Because you're just not cleaning, because things just don't disappear. I'm going to clean it. Where are you going to clean it into? Where's it going to? And why do I need cleaned if everything's working right? See where I'm going? No, it's not. So you're going back to the cleaner system, which is the sewer system. That's a cleaning system. And that's your kidneys and adrenals, big players in that field. And so that's where you want to go and fix that up. If you want to promote better liver function, do the milk thistle. So what is the best way to use it, or are there other ways to cleanse the liver without, without the amounts of olive oil? Well, you're talking about a liver flush. Oh, this is Lorna. This is Lorna. If you want to do a liver gallbladder flush, that's something totally different. If you want to clean the liver, even of stones and stuff, the detox is perfectly adequate. Some people are so stoned up in the liver gallbladder, they need to get it out faster. I would suggest that in the fatty liver cases and stuff. But you want to spend a good month to 2 months on raw foods, to my opinion, and herbs, even for the liver or milk thistle, before you do a liver gallbladder flush. You don't have to do a liver gallbladder flush. That's just a quick way to get them out. If you want to just get them out and dissolve naturally, you got to be on a raw food diet. You got to go on a detoxification diet. We do have, I mentioned in the last video, I think, or so, we do have the phosphate liquid from Standard Process, which does dissolve stones, supposedly. Let me see here. This is George. Hey, George. Thanks for your time, Dr. Morse. I know you are very busy. I'm a 29-year-old male living in Denver, Colorado. Well, I wouldn't mind being right beside you right now. I'd like to try some of the goodies you guys in Denver have. I'll try a cookie or a gummy bear. Just saying. I found you on YouTube about a year ago, and you really have changed my perspective on life in general. Thanks, my friend. I appreciate that. I get a little quirky sometimes and stuff like that. But boy, when you're right in the mix of healing people up, and some people are really suffering bad out there, and some of the sad stuff, you know, there's so much sad stuff. But I think we're here to join together and to get our perspective, get our spirituality in order, to get ourselves up there. No voodoo, no nonsense, no conditioning and propaganda. We want to know truth. Just simply speak the truth. What we know of it. If you don't know something, you admit it. I don't know. That doesn't make you any less a person or less of an individual if you don't know something. Can't everybody know everything? It's impossible. It's not how it works. So, you know, that's why there's a bunch of us. So each of us can know a little, and we can all come together and share, and that's the beauty of learning. The allopathy needs to think about that and change, and realize your patient isn't your foe, is your friend. I have deepened spiritually because I found you, and I'm thankful for that. Thanks, I appreciate it. That's the best thing you could have said. Health is one thing, but spirituality, that's your forever survival for a lot of ways. So the spiritual side is my favorite side. I'd love to do more spiritual videos with you guys, but there's so many people hurting here. I'm just trying to interject what I can when I can. I will. I'll come in here and we'll do some meditations and we'll talk some spiritually here. But I'm trying to interlace it and develop how you look, how you see, how you pull back, and how you separate thought and thought patterns from consciousness and truth. It takes a watchful eye, so to speak. Uplifting souls out there, I know there was a reason for me to find your videos, and I'm thankful for that. I have always wanted to help people in health and general life. Isn't it fun? And that's a mark of a spiritual being. You know, any spiritual being wants to really help people. And I say that in that a true healer is one that's truly compassionate. Detached compassion. Is there such a thing? Detached compassion is the best way I can describe a true healer. The problem with the word detached, it's very rarely used. Because when I see suffering, it's hard for me to be detached. I know it's karma driven. I know the individual soul created that. But we can help them out of it. That's how I look at it. You know? I want to devote my life to serving, and I tell you, there's nothing like it. Oh, and I like this, especially wants to help infants. Oh, God, man. I tell you, I'm with you. It's just a nightmare out there. I can't even tell you how regurgitating it is. Past the gummy bears. I mean, that's how it makes you feel. You just, you know, it's just hard to take sometimes. It can take you off your spiritual feet. Just as sad. But you always know that it's all karma-driven and everything else, and you're here as to give a gift of love and happiness and health and lift them up as best you can. Absolutely. Good man. Like George, you good guy, man. I've been studying detoxification through your YouTube channel for the past year. That's a long time. I will be ordering your level 1 course online that comes with the test and the certificate. Once I pass that and you pass your level 2 announcement, I plan on attending that. Yeah, we're having fun with level 2s. I'm having fun with both of them. I love our classes. This is where we can really get into this. I have these questions for you. Number 1, heart murmurs in children and adults. What causes them? Okay, so when you look at the valves, when valves get weak, you can get a blowback, whatever fluid you're running through it. So in the case of a mitral and tricuspid, these are 2 valves in the heart. Remember, you have 4 chambers with a valve between the atrials and the ventricles. And these are just gates, you know, like you would open up a gate and let the cattle in, but you're letting blood in. And then you close the gate so no blood regurgitates back, right? And therefore then it's squeezed out into your lungs, and then it's oxygenated, goes into the upper left atrial, and then down, opens the valve up, down into your left ventricle, and push right on out to the world of the inner world. So then you got oxygenated nutrition going right to the cells. Perfect. But when you get a weakness, when your lymph system, the only way to get a weakness in your body is from which side of chemistry? I suppose you could argue that if you stayed based too long, yeah, but really in real common sense, and looking at the cycles of all metabolitic cycles, cribs, everything you can look at, it's quite obvious. And it's obvious in manufacturing, it's obvious in car exhaust, it's obvious when you look around that the byproducts of industry, whether it's the inner industry or the outer industry, are acids. Now, acids are the corrosive side of chemistry. Remember, there's only two sides of chemistry. How more simple can God be? So, you can always start with this first question whenever you feel something. This first question, which side of chemistry is hurting me? That's your first question out to shoot. You know where it's at because you feel it. So which side of chemistry is hurting me? Well, 99.99999% of the time, you're always going to respond the acid side of chemistry. All right? So that pretty much helps you to decide which system is having trouble, because there's only two systems that take care of your cells. Everything else is genetics in the cells. So the two systems, obviously, is blood and lymph. Understanding why is the lymph system so much bigger. And with these new lymphatic systems, we can almost say the lymph system is 10 times bigger than the blood system. Once they find all these lymphatic systems and they find all this, they're going to go, oh my God. Why would the blood be so small of a system as opposed to this gigantic immune sewer? See? So, due respect to the great lymphatic system, big time, and that's what needs to be done. But their very verbiage tells them exactly what the problem is. So there's no excuse for ignorance. But a college professor of A&P can tell you, come on, she knows what's up. So, whenever you're in the acid side of chemistry, your body has to defend against that, because acids are corrosive and destroys, breaks apart, tears down. So, when you're in pain, you see decay, the atrophy of a body, which side of chemistry are you going to be on? So it's your lymph system. Realize the lymph system is a huge system that's attached to your lymph nodes, septic tanks, and then to the kidneys and the skin. This mucosa is a big part of that system that produces mucus. When you ingest an acid or a protein that the body doesn't want, you're going to get mucus from the mucosa. And you can feel it. When you're cleaning more and you have a little yogurt or have a little cheese, you can feel it. You can feel your mucosa respond in your sinuses and in your bronchi and lungs. You start to feel like you're full. Oh man, when you get cleaner and you start to clog, oh my God, it's right in your face. This is how we learn things though. So, when that happens and you become more acidic, and remember, it's the protein diets that have wrecked the kidneys, wrecked the bowels. So now we're all facing weak kidneys and adrenals. They're not filtering. When you're not filtering, acid production has to be met with some base balance. When that's not happening, the body's going to steal base. And what's the most dominant base that I can steal anywhere in you? Calcium. And I can get it right out of valves, I can get it right out of joints, I can get it right out of connective tissue, and so I do. Locally or systemically, I don't care. I'll steal it anywhere. I can use lipids, so I use cholesterol a lot because that's the system I'm using, is the cholesterol system. So that gets more. You see where I'm going here? So when I take calcium, I take the strength out of connective tissue. I take the strength out of valves. What are you going to see? A weaker valve, a regurgitated valve, a valve that doesn't always close, a gate that doesn't close completely, and you get a regurgitation back. Too much, not good. So, you're going to go parathyroid. Parathyroid and the bones formula. I would, a couple bottles, 3 times a day of the parathyroid. I think I would do 3 times a day of the bones if it was me. I'm also going to go gangbusters on my kidneys. I'm going to go after my kidneys and adrenals and start moving lymph. I got a heart formula. You know I love that. It's a blue ribbon. I've won awards with that one. I'm going to go with the heart formula to strengthen up the heart itself. That's how you got to go to fix these valves. but this is true anywhere in the body. Is that a lymphatic issue in the heart? Absolutely. Absolutely. And look back and see if you've had any of your relation die from congestive heart failure or something like that, then that would be lymphatic. Yeah. Is it common that parents pass that onto their babies? Absolutely. Oh, you name it. You name it. That's that. Mitral valve prolapse, which is MVP. Mitral valve prolapse, heart murmur, about the same stuff. And it's all fixable. All fixable. But whenever you see that with scarlet fever and all these things like this, you know, this is all just strong acidosis. And what acids do to you, there's only two sides of chemistry. And you can always depend upon that. It's only two sides. There's no more, no less. Well, there's only two main fluid-based systems in your body that take care of your cells, blood and lymph. Find me another. There might be another one in there that they haven't found, but that would be way out there. They haven't even found all the lymph systems yet. But you're right. And that's the reason why you see it's the lymph system, because of the acid and the need to correct that. If you don't have a need to correct acidosis, you're not going to pull electrolytes. Therefore, you're not going to lose calcium out of your fingernails, your joints, or anywhere else. If you're losing calcium, you know you're losing it to acidosis. Now, with a parathyroid weakness, you can't put it back. I could borrow like the government's been borrowing out of Social Security. It's just that, whoops, we borrowed so much we can't pay it back. That's a baby boomers. It's a problem then. That's how we do things in our country. Instead of being factual with the people, it's hidden. Every once in a while you will hear where we borrowed a couple of times. We know which presidents borrowed out of the Social Security and didn't put it back. So then they blame all the baby boomers for Social Security problems, and even though we paid in. It's just that deceitfulness that makes me sick to my stomach. A lot of people say you need to drink water to be hydrated. Do they now? I tell you what, you take an advanced cancer case that's extremely dehydrated, give them a lot of water, you might as well go ahead and tell them to get their affairs in order, because it's flatly how you kill somebody. You mentioned that the body has two major fluids, blood and lymph. When we drink water, what is supposed to not into a major fluid? Well, we carry X amount of water in us, if we can call that water. Every once in a while, absolutely, we can carry water in us. We can carry a lot of water in, but they're not servicing fluids. It's not a servicing fluid. And hydration isn't about water. Hydration is about alkalinity of the blood and interstitial spaces. You know, you could argue a couple of hydrations. Blood, but that's easy. The lymph hydration. That is, you can't drink water and hydrate. That's ridiculous. Think about this. How many cells does the human body have? Roughly 100 trillion. There are spaces around each cell. Why are there interstitial or spaces around the cells? Well, how am I going to get the fluids to the cells if they're all attached to each other? I have to have a pathway, a route to feed and clean, right? So you have interstitial spaces. As small as some might be, you still have some you still have interstitial spaces. That has interstitial fluid. You could dub it as lymph, but it's a little blood and lymph. You can see it when you pop a pimple. That's interstitial fluid. About 25% blood and 75% lymph. But that's what tumors up. When that fluid isn't moving, you'll see swelling in that area. Water is just trying to bring in any electrolytes, anything. But if you drink acid water, you're adding to the mix. Water is actually acidic, naturally. H2O. Hydrogen is a universal acid. H2, two atoms of hydrogen to one of oxygen. It makes it an acid water. The thing that makes it an alkaline water is your electrolytes, your minerals. If it comes out of a natural spring, comes out of the mountains, then it's energized and electrified. But then, as a distilled water, it is leaching in the minerals, so it then becomes an alkalizer so the animals can drink it, and then gives a small electrical charge to the blood and the lymph and blah, 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 blah. But most of the elementals at these levels are not well absorbed. But water is just a good, it's what the body uses to buffer acids and stuff. You don't want to hold water. Now, you never want to hold water. But it's not a servicing fluid. I'm assuming we could all live without water if we drank and ate fruits. Absolutely. Very little need for water if your daily diet is almost all water. But it's a hydrated electrical water. That's the kind of water you want. Fruit juice is over just plain old water. And again, it depends on the water. And the source of it, of course. As that is the water we really need. You're right on with this. You're right on, man. You hit it right on the head. Because it has all the nutrients, energy, you're right on, hydrating the cells and tissues. And also, that's my take. And that's what we've seen for, almost 50 years now. So I assume we're right. We've seen the other way when edema takes your butt right out of here. I told you about the one case where this medical doctor ordered 500 cc's of water every hour to this client of ours in a nursing home, killed her, drowned her. Got the video to show it. When you talk about doing grape fasts, should one eat the grapes whole or juice them? Either way, or both. If you're a person that does hold a lot of water, I'd probably eat them. You know, or do both. I do both. And if organic grapes aren't available, will regular grapes be as effective, especially in regards to the pesticides? You know, there's a lot of thought on that. Some people feel the difference. I can only say that I can't get organic grapes well around here. Whole Foods is so expensive. I don't even go there anymore because I drop, 4 or 5 C notes every time I go in there. So I don't go in there. It's just way too expensive. And I use veggie wash. I use Friday's Fit, where we have a veggie wash. I have both of them at the house because I don't know. And the grapes we get down here, is so much mold on them that are organic. They have a lot of mold. They weren't taken care of. But I can tell you this. Good, properly grown organic food will stand on your counter a lot longer than hybrids. You see that all the time. Your original strain, same thing with bananas and everything else. Anything that's organic has a much longer shelf life. You'll see the other foods decay much quicker. It's just it's just how we're destroying the very food we need to live on. Oh my God. But it is the Kali Yuga. What? Why should I worry about that? I'm planning to go on your 14-day week detox protocol. Oh, you got it, go, man. Kick your butt. Go on, man. I have several health issues. I've always had a lot of mucus congestion in my head, chest area. Get that out. Get all that out, because that's your tumors and stuff like that. That's your masses and tumors. So you want to get all this stuff out of there. And was also vaccinated a lot as I lived overseas. Get all that crap out of there. You got to do all that, get all that out of there. Coming off the 14-week detox, what would be the ideal diet to have? Well, it depends. If you feel like you want to dig in more, keep going with the diet. Keep going at a high level. If not, add a salad a day, so you do fruit 2 meals a day and a salad 1. Or however you want to play with that. That's a healthy way to live. If you can do fruits, berries, and melons for 2 meals and a big salad for 1, hell, some Mack truck would have to run over to kill you. Once you fixed everything, what would kill you? These machines are allowed to run and run and run and run and run. Remember the French physicist we talked about it that kept part of a chicken's heart alive for, 20 years? I don't think it's all cells reproduce every 7 years, though. So it's however you want to do. I would say this. You want to do this until you're symptom-free, until your car's driving into Wellville and you're feeling it. And you're going, man, this is great. And your eyes look good, too. Use your iris to help you to see where you need to work and how much you need to work. It's a fun thing. And we got them right here. It's just fun stuff. You let the naysayers live in the naysayers. Those guys will one day be going, could you help me? Could you help me? I have stopped eating meat and plan on never eating meat again. Amen. I said that too, and then once in a while, I got to taste that. I would like to do the following. Complete the 14-week detox, eating all fruit, then do a 14-day grape fast, following by a 2-week limit. Holy crap, boy. I'm on your side 100%. You're going to kick ASS. Man, if fresh apple juice or fresh grape juice is not available to me, while on the GI brew, what are your thoughts on fresh orange juice? Perfect. And if fresh orange juice isn't available, well, grape juice from concentrate. Not from concentrate. Get your Nutsons or your Lakewood. Get those not from concentrate. Well, you can tell too. Oh, Even though they're pasteurized, they almost feel fresh. Especially Nutsons. If you get a Nutson's Fresh Run, in glass bottles. So it's the best of that world, or get frozen, not from concentrate, and redo it. If you can find frozen organic, not from concentrate, better. If you can find maybe not organic, but still frozen, not from concentrate, always going to be better. If while detoxing, worms, parasites are coming out through the skin, well, let's hope they don't come out through your skin. That would be Magellan's. But let's just hope you don't have them come through your skin, man. They're going to come out your stools. Well, I've had people get, over or two out of the eye, and one guy got something out of his belly button and something like that. But, excuse me. I just had a cookie for Christmas, for God's sakes. But that's the sort of thing, just let them come out. They'll be in your stool mostly, bro. Are coming out through, I would think black salve. Well, you wouldn't have anything coming out your skin like that, and you wouldn't want to put black salve for a parasite. It's easy to kill parasites. It is, the tumors will be black salve. But if you don't have black salve, what else could you put on the skin to heal? Well, we have all kinds of that. We have heal-off salve, we got a burn salve, all those salves are healing well. But you're not going to get parasites out the skin. I mean, you might have some fungal or roundworm or something like that, or ringworm, I mean. And would you want to pull the worms out of your skin or let the black salve or others? I don't know where you're going with this. I've never seen worms actually come out of people's skin. But I have seen them throw them up. I have seen them come out the stool. I have seen them come out a few choice holes. Oh, well, you're pretty gnarly, George. I like you. You mentioned that while detoxing, if you get teeth problems, teeth becoming sensitive, that you are probably eating too much. Well, check your pH of your mouth. That's all I can say, because remember this one case that we had is a high cancer case. Her teeth got all loose and her gums and all her teeth were loose. You can't freak out when that happens. You keep driving your car home. You make sure this is alkaline. But you keep going, because if you've got a lot of acid in your teeth and you're losing your teeth, that's not the food, that is your lymph system. But add acid on top of acid. Add an acid fruit that was picked unripe, yeah, you can definitely feel that acid in the mouth. But that'd be the same thing as chemotherapy. No, not the same thing. We're talking about acids that are way up in the pH. We're not talking about 1.5 and 2 pHs here. We're not talking battery acids here. So you can see what happens when you do a little minor acid on an acid. Imagine major acid on a... No wonder this girl ran after 2 treatments. My question is it best to avoid most acidic fruits while detoxing, or would you go, I'll say this. I love my navel oranges if they have to be ripe. I can only eat citruses if they're ripe and sweet. When you eat a citrus, it better be sweet as honey, except for grapefruit. And you can always tell when a grapefruit is too acidic, and you just have to get used to that. But definitely make sure your fruits are as alkaline as possible. I mean, they're supposed to be alkaline. It's the way we raise and pick them. That's all that is. We love to make that tree yield, baby. More yield, more acids, more nitrogen. Yield, baby. Who cares about the taste? That's what's happened to us. Farmers, yield, baby, yield. It's all about the money. No, it isn't, guys. It is not all about the money. You see what's happened because of that. What happened to love and all the other stuff? All right, I'm going to take a minute and take a quick break. And too much water. I'll be right back. I only have about 15 minutes left, so this is from Jennifer. Boy, there's so many Jennifers around here. We've got at least 2 now. Love you. I love you too, Jennifer. Thank you so much, sweetheart. I viewed your videos. You make me so much sense. I know truth when I hear it. Thanks. You know what? And I think we all do too. I think when you hear truth, it's like, oh yeah. Because we're so used to, I don't know what we're so used to down here. Oh look, I have admired Dr. Bernard Jensen for so long. Yeah, me too. His wife just died. She died one day before she was to hit 94. She beat him. She died one day before she hit 94. and to find a student of his. Well, I have a question for you for your YouTube videos. Can you explain what people with gallstones can expect to happen, and what could happen, and what to do if it does happen? Oh, okay. I'm scared of getting a blockage or something. Good question. You can get bile duct blockages, but these are softer stones. They're not like kidney, calcium oxalate, basically stones. These are softer, and they're kind of a yellow emerald. Of course, the emerald's bile and the yellow's cholesterol. Whenever you acidify fluids, you're going to dehydrate that fluid. Why? Because you're going to burn the electrolytes up. You're going to burn the alkaline chemistry up, fighting the acids. How many females does it take to fight a man? And that's how you do it. How many bases does it take to fight an acid? So you end up dehydrating. When you do that, we call it agglomeration, or when things come together. Yeah, they agglomerate, they stick together. And so that's what happens. We form stones and things like that in an acidic medium. To reverse that is to hydrate. Now, we call that anionic medium, which is a medium of coagulation and that sort of thing. When we hydrate, we can only hydrate with the base chemistry. So you need a lot of females coming in because there's a lot of men building up, and now you got to have a lot of females, a lot of female chemistry, base chemistry. Base chemistry is basically your electrolytes: calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium, that sort of stuff. And your fruits and berries and melons and salads are rich in those. Those are dominant in that side of chemistry. But you're supposed to eat foods that are dominant in that side of chemistry because your blood is dominant in that side of chemistry, and your blood's the first hit. So you really want to look at that. So if you don't want to have any stones in your body, get your lymph system moving, get your kidneys filtering, and start cleaning your lymph system. Use your eyes as the gauge. If you have gallstones and you want to get rid of them, I highly recommend you spend about a month on raw foods. You don't have to. You can purge them tomorrow. But if you're not in severe pain, and even if you were in a lot of pain, because we get this all the time. We have people walk in here scheduled for gallbladder surgery, and not one has had to walk that way, because it's easy to fix your gallbladder up in terms of getting the stone. But when you're inflamed and you have a real active problem, go raw, right then. Go mostly fruits, berries, and melons. That detoxifies, hydrates, breaks apart, cleans, and that's what you want to go to. Then in about 2 weeks to a month, you could do a liver gallbladder flush and flush them out with our liver gallbladder flush. I don't use the salt waters. I do use the olive oil. I do use grapefruit juice. It's a little better than I think lemon. Less nauseating. And I also get just a little bit of apple there. Just a real apple, just to give me a little bit of enzymes, a little bit of anti-nausea stuff. But that's how you would flush it out. To eliminate getting stones back after you've done that, of course, I want to tell you, you can probably do 2 or 3 and get stones out every time. Remember, the liver gets stones in them as well. Almost everything gets stones in it. So you just continue to alkalize and detox, alkalize and detox, alkalize and detox. And that's what creates a cationic environment where everything starts hydrating and breaking up and loosening, and fluids start getting their viscosities right, just depending on the balance of chemistry, and everybody's good. That naturally occurs when you're eating foods naturally grown by nature. For our vertebrates, we're frugivores. It would be fruits, berries, and melons, but fruits and berries predominantly. Or you could do your veggie fruit, which is your cucumbers, your peppers. There's plenty of vegetable fruits that are excellent too, and so you could have that as well. You know, I have my guacamole with cucumber slices. I don't use grains too much. If I do, it's got to be rice crackers or 100% corn, dehydrated corn chips out of real corn. But nobody digests corn anyway. But I like cucumber chips because you're raw, you stay raw, everything's good. And it's quite good. I am scared of getting a blockage or something. Will they just dissolve in the gallbladder, or will the gallbladder try to expel them? Well, I suppose, you know, when you start feeling a pain from gallstones, it's your gallbladder spasming. And when things are dehydrated, things lock in place. Just like mucus gets thick and locked in place. To start getting a hydration of that mucus and stuff is to go back to the hydrating foods. Fruits, berries, melons, and salads. That's the only true dehydrating foods out there. Everything else is acidic. You might find some alkaline grains, but not really hydrating. I mean, you know, grains are grains, starches. So you do have quinoa and millet, you know, a few of those, but they're still starch. They're still complex sugar. They're still, you know. I suffer from gallbladder attacks, and I am able to manage the attacks through an enzyme called lipogold and a tincture for the liver and diet. Yeah, but no, you want to go ahead and take care of this problem. I put myself on a raw food diet here for about a month. And if you're having symptoms, you can do this in a week to 2 weeks. All right, did you go on a grape fast for a week then, or a raw food fast for a week? You might call the office and get fast food liquid and do that for the week, because it'll start breaking them up. It's called FOS, P-H-O-S, fast food liquid. FOS is in phosphorus, even though phosphorus is acidic. Now, and then do your liver gallbladder flush here in about 2 weeks. That'd be your best bet. And get that out of there. But you want to get your lymph system filtering, because you'll just form them all over again. So you want to get your lymph system filtering, you want to get your lymph system moving, that'll pull the inflammation out, you'll stop forming stones, and you'll stop spasming the gallbladder. But I'll give myself 2 weeks though. I've been too scared to do Andre Morse's program of consuming Epsom salts. I disagree with that one. I disagree with taking Epsom salts internally. Okay? I disagree with that one. I think you do a simpler gallbladder flush. You just do the oil. It's been done since I've done hundreds of them on people through my years. Hundreds of them. We save a lot of gallbladders here. Lots of them. So don't be scared about that. But I'd be scared about the salt water. I don't recommend that at all. I think that's ridiculous. But the olive oil is the standard practice, honey. If you don't want to do the oil or anything, then I put myself up, detox aggressively, get a liver gallbladder formula, get fast food liquid, and just start banging the raw, the fruits and the berries and the melons, and stay up there and detox. And that'll be the other way to get this. You want to get your kidneys filtering, because you got to clean interstitially your GI tract, your liver, gallbladder, pancreas. You want to start moving lymph. You need to do that anyway, and that assured you won't get them again. So you might want to go down that road if you don't want to do a flush. They're not. If you do a gentle flush, they're not bad. They're not fun, but they're not bad. But if you don't want to do anything, then you've got to do something, or you will someday. They'll pluck the gallbladder, and you don't wait, because the longer you wait, because I know there's things I don't want to do. There's definitely some things I just don't want to do, but you're forced to do them to survive. And so, highly recommend you take care of this, because doing it the way you're doing, I think, is just going to push the problem down the road. You're kicking the ball down the road. And the trouble with doing something like that is it's generally worse. Dr. Christopher's protocol of hydrangea root, because I'm concerned about the stones getting stuck. You don't have to be concerned about that, but big enough. So you want to start dissolving them. And to dissolve that which is hard is to alkalize. It's chemistry. Hydrate. I wanted a better idea of what to expect so I can be prepared for the worst. You know, you don't get too many people with stuck gallstones. You just don't. They're soft, and you can spasm them out. So I've never even, on our flushes, I've never seen anybody ever have that problem, ever. So you don't have to be scared with that, honey. But if you are, then do it through detox, because detox will break up all the stones and stuff like that. But you've got to get your lymph moving. And I suggest, because you have this problem, that if you take a look at it, you have lymphatic problems, you want to go ahead and fix this, because it's suggestive of having interstitial backing up in the small bowel, which would lead to malabsorption, pancreatic interstitial. You know, it's all, when you see the liver gallbladder, it's all that way. Now, you could just have a weak gallbladder genetically and everything else looks good. Pull your eyes, the best way to tell. Muscle trigger points that won't heal. Wow. This is flybacks. I had a pectoral muscle strain a little over a year ago, and I developed trigger points in the muscle. Now I have several trigger points in my chest, shoulders, neck, and back. I just can't seem to get the muscles to heal properly. And we just had this discussion on the lady with the frozen shoulder, and I'll tell you, this is totally why. You know, again, trauma heals if you have a good moving sewer system. And this is the same thing, suggestive that you're not moving lymph properly. Therefore, you're seeing this acidosis multiply and the trigger points multiply. And it's just all about getting yourself alkalized, getting all this tear, everything repaired. Check your parathyroid, by the way. It's just a natural thought when you tear and stuff like that, and you want to heal faster. But I tell you, move your lymph, man. Move your lymph much better. You're going to feel that all around here. And so you want to move your lymph. My muscles are constantly sore and stiff because of those nasty trigger points. Yeah, but if you back up and you ask another question, you're going to go back to lymph and acidosis. That's why the trigger points, that's why, you see what I'm saying? It's why the easy tear. I mean, go back further. Go back further in why. You're going to take you to the wall where there's no more whys anymore. Then you find truth. But if you stop and then you blame everything on that, it's like medical doctors blaming, let's say, gangrene on diabetes, or blaming anything on neuropathy on diabetes. Has nothing to do with it. It's what causes diabetes. It's what causes blood sugar problems, not the diseases. That's where they get confused. They don't know how to link and understand how one system that goes down, that can affect you head to toe, can give you cancer head to toe, that can break you down head to toe. One system. The other system breaks down, you're dead in a minute. Well, 3 minutes actually, but still. See where I'm going with this? The lymph is just a nasty, slower death. I just really got off all the meat and dairy. Good man, Dan. Stay off of those for a while. Get your body in shape and then, you know, whatever. But still, you're doing good, Dan the man. Clean yourself out real good. Get that lymph moving, and you'll find all that soreness and trigger points going away. But you've got to move lymph. Check your urine. Make sure you're filtering. Time for one more. Time for one more. This is Christian. Not like that. Let me see here. Hope I'm trying to make sure I'm not saying anything I shouldn't. Let me see. As you can read, I had 2 strokes in the age of 32. Holy God. 2 strokes at the age 32, bro? What the heck? I am from Germany, so I am trying to talk English as best I can. You're doing perfect. My right side and voice are messed up, basically. Sorry for the wording. Yeah, understand the wording. But that's the best way, and let's be honest, they are messed up. How, or better, what can I do to fix it the fastest way as possible? Okay, this is the only way to fix strokes. All right, here's the thing. Work yourself to 100% fruits, berries, and melons. That's it, no vegetables. This is a stroke. This is neurological, okay? So this is another step higher than generally other people could go. You want to go to the top of the mountain, man. So, kidneys and adrenals. Essential that you get your kidneys filtering. Essential, okay? You have to go after that. So I'd go on the 14-week protocol if you can afford. You got to get aggressive. Right? Here's the other thing. Upper circulation, brain, and nerve. Live on that. I'd be doing a dropper and a half full. Both of those 3-4 times a day. All right, there you're going to fix you're going to address your circulation and your stroke. Now, you've got to remove the acidosis, because whatever reason you stroke, from occlusions of calcifications or occlusions of lipids or collapsing of vascular walls, you're going to think of all three of these reasons. So your circulation, you're going to help. You can do upper and lower circulation. It's going to keep blood moving aggressively where you're occluded or blocked. The brain and nerve is going to repair neurons. At the same time, you're going down, you're going to turn on the glands, you're going to turn on the lymph nodes, you're going to remove this inflammation out of your body. Now, the outside chance that you had vascular spasms or collapsing, you're still going to do the same thing. You're still going to move that lymph to get the acids out for the spasticity, but you're going to address the parathyroid gland. And I would address the parathyroid anyway. A couple bottles, 1-3 times a day is what I would do. I would also address with the Bones formula to heal. If it's a calcification, you can only sit and dissolve. And that can only be done through an alkaline, and you want to address the highest, quickest way to go. If you want to also help you a little bit, do that fast track alkalizer, mix a teaspoon in aluminum-free baking soda and sip that off and on through the day to bring alkalization to the blood, hopefully tripping over into the lymph system. And that's how I go after that one. And I've done this many, 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 many times. Triple strokes. Remember I told you about a triple stroke. They counted him out, told his wife to go make funeral arrangements. I told her to go home, get a feeding tube, and we put him on fruits and berry juice. 3 months he's sitting up counting his ABCs. That's from a triple stroke going to the graveyard. So, I don't like strokes. Harder to fix afterwards. So you keep this pathways open. And that's the blood, but the blood is influenced by what? The lymph. So spasms, vascular collapses, occlusions from calcifications or lipids, all the lymphatic system caused. Even though it's down on the blood system, it was lymphatic system caused. So get this so you can do it. You're only 32. You need to fix this anyway. And by the chance, are you balding or anything? That would be something you want to correct. That's a serious problem, and that's what you can lead into when you start to see balding, is strokes and everything else. This is all serious stuff, guys. So serious. It's life-threatening, and it's life-changing, because you can be in deep pain like some of you guys for years and years and years, ratting you out, turning you into something else. Not good. We're here to help, and we're doing it as a team. I love it, don't you? It's fun stuff, because you get your remedy and you get yourself taken care of. You're only 32, Dan. You get yourself fixed up. If you need any help, call up the clinic. They'll give you advice and help you. But you fix yourself. You can fix yourself. And you'll want to do this, because if you haven't fixed this and done this, you can stroke any time. Depends on why you stroked. But I would be also just going after that parathyroid on the side a little bit, just in case you're weak and you have a weak wall. You strengthen connective tissue. Strengthen and clean, and that cures every single thing out there. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for tuning out. Thank you for your comments. I appreciate it. I love you guys too. You know, we're just a bunch of honest God people trying to help the world get better. You know, God people are people that love life, love others, love nature. Those are God people. It doesn't have to be someone that loves a particularly religious God or something. It's someone that loves, opens up from the heart, and appreciates all life. That's a God lover. Doesn't have to be a name attached to it. But take care of yourselves and be free. Get detached, free yourself up from thought, live in the now, clean your bodies out, and get them well. I love you guys. We'll talk to you in another video. I'm going to just keep on catching up here, so hopefully this week I can catch up a lot. I'm almost caught up with one big pile. Well, maybe not so much, but so much. Oops, I got another big pile over here. So hang in there. If you're serious and you've got serious problems, man, you call the clinic. Or I'm getting caught up here, but still, I can't get to every one of you. So if you're hurting, by all means, you get yourself handled some way or another. Talk to other YouTubers that are doing this, or call into the clinic. But you take care of yourselves. Get yourselves well. Life without Wellville isn't fun. So we love you from the heart, guys. Don't we? Don't we, everyone?